Hi guys, I'm excited for today's video because today we're doing a thrift flip. I don't know if you've noticed or if it's just for me personally, but there's been a lot of thrift flip videos going around and I thought I would jump on the bandwagon because I do have a sewing machine, so may as well put it to good use. This is going to be like a little series, I think, because I have heaps of clothes that I can flip. So if you want more videos like this one, then let me know. So I hope you enjoy and I'll see you at the end of the video. So I started out by grabbing some denim that my mum was going to give to Vinnie's and then measured and cut out 13cm sided squares from all the different pieces of denim that I had. It was actually quite a challenge to cut through the fabric at times, but we got there in the end, so go me. By the end of this whole process, we had 18 squares, and now I need to rearrange them in a pattern that I desired. After a lot of rearranging, I finally decided upon this design. I really like the dark and light washes together as opposed to the more bluey tone ones, as you can see on the left. Now the fun part that you've all been waiting for, the sewing. I pinned two squares together with the front sides facing each other and then sewed that together like so. Like so. Do you get it? I then continued this process until all 9 squares were all sewn together in one big square. Just like this. And then the back of it looked like this. A bit of a dog's breakfast, but we will fix that later. Now let's see what it looks like on. And by on, I mean literally just holding it up like this to see if the size was looking good, which it was. But now I need to add on some more squares and sew it on like this, just so we could have a little bit more coverage. And then I tried it back on again to see the progress we had made. It was looking good, I was quite happy with myself. And then the final squares we needed was a bigger one attached to a smaller one, and then pin that onto the rest of the body of the fabric, front sides facing each other as per usual. Now this is what it was looking like at this point, and you may notice that the squares don't line up, but I think it fits quite well with the whole patchwork concept. But in actual fact, my sewing is just really bad, but we're not going to talk about it, okay? Anyway, after a long 3 hours of doing that part, I now needed to move on to the back where it was looking very, very chaotic. So I just had to cut off all those loose threads, as well as cut the edges a little bit smaller and straighter. Once I had done that, I now needed to overlock the edges with a triangle stitch just to make sure the fabric didn't fray. So this process took me 2.5 hours to do every single edge, but by the end of it, it was looking something like this. And when it was over, I was so happy, as you can hear in the next clip. Finally, finally. And after my bad singing came to an end, sorry about that by the way, I just cut away the loose threads and it was looking really nice. After my dog blatantly decided to stand on my clothes, thanks for that by the way, I now needed to create a more distinct shape, and with great care I started to cut. Really hoping that I wasn't going to mess it up. It was now time to hem up all those raw edges, so I just doubled over the fabric and pinned it like you can see here, and I also threaded the machine with clear thread. And let me tell you, this clear thread, or invisible thread as it's called, is so hard to use because you can't actually see what you're doing, and it's impossible to unpick because you just cannot see it. I then needed to cut off the bottom edge to neaten it up, and by this point I was extremely tired and starting to get really over it. My thumb was hurting from holding onto those scissors for dear life. And then my willpower died and I gave up for a second. But then deep within me, I found a sudden burst of energy and continued on because I was so close to finishing. I then quickly hemmed the bottom by once again doubling over it and then just sewing along that line. And then I moved on to the sides of the top where I needed to adjust it so that it would fit me nicely. And so I just cut it like this. I don't know why I did this. Like, it's kind of odd, but like, yeah, and then I hemmed it like this. It was looking real nice and fresh. I then needed to choose some buttons, which you can actually see I've already chosen on the left-hand side of the screen, but this shot was just for aesthetics. I decided upon these 3 cotton-covered buttons. Now time for the fun part, the hand sewing, which is actually not the fun part because I actually don't know how to hand sew. So this was really just guessing. Like, I sewed all 3 buttons in a different way because I didn't know what I was doing. However, the buttons were pretty sturdy, so it was all good. So now it was time to do the little loops that we're going to connect like this. And then I was going to sew the elastic onto the other side. Do you get what I'm saying here? Yeah, okay. So I sewed that, like so. Oh my god, I need to stop with this like so. Then I tried the top on and realised the back was completely crooked and not flattering at all. So I had to cut off a big chunk and then redo that whole part again with the loops. So sad times. And now it was time for the final step, the straps, which I didn't really know how I was going to make. But then I decided to get a piece like this and just fold each side in half and then onto each other like this, and then pin it and then just sew along that line to make a nice little strap. Yeah. By this point I was over it, and so I enlisted the help of my mother, who just sewed on the straps for me because I really was struggling with that part, and so she just hand sewed them on for me, but didn't get any footage of that, but I'm sure you can imagine it. So here's the final product.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast.
It's not about personality matrixels and charts. It's all about the bumps in your heart.
Welcome back. It's me again. Did you enjoy that? I hope you did. So that's that, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little video. It kind of gives off like Britney Spears, like 2001 vibes with the double denim. And fun fact, me and Britney had the same birthday. Bit of coincidence, I think. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video very soon.